folks, this video is about us getting a pump and filter for our little pond and seeing if it can make the water clearer. We put this little pond in last summer, but the water just got filled with algae and really green, and when we put the pondweed in it went brown and we thought it was completely dead. But the other day, to our delight, we found that the pondweed has started to grow and the water's changed from a green algae colour to this sort of murky sandy colour. So we're going to put a pump and a filter in and see if that helps clear the water and encourages the pondweed to grow better and hopefully even get some frogs in the pond. So this is what the water looks like in the pond before it's had any pump and filter in at all. So this is the pump. It just came in some bubble wrap with that label on. Didn't come in a box or anything. It came with a couple of nozzles that I think you're supposed to put here. Paul ordered this extension cable and he also ordered this outdoor box to protect the cables from water, and that was the only packaging around the weatherproof box. The maker's master plug, and this was the box the extension lead came in, 15-metre extension lead. So this is what's inside the pump. So that sponge, Paul, is that what collects the muck out the pond?
Yes, it looks like
No,
it.
you've got to check. What, do you wash that out or do you change it?
I would say you washed it out, yeah. It's like an open cell sort of mesh, fairly coarse. The water will be sucked through there and expelled here, and any reasonably large debris will get collected in this. So I guess you just take this off every now and again and rinse this out under the tap and squeeze it like that.
So you've taken the sponge off now.
I've taken the filter off. This is interesting. It shows you the you can adjust the flow rate.
All right.
It doesn't slow the pump down or anything like that.
It just makes the hole larger or smaller or closes it completely.
Yeah.
So you were saying, Paul, it's got these suckers to suck onto something.
Yeah, they're a base or a side, but seeing as ours is going into a very small pond outside with dirt and stones on the bottom, I think maybe we should stick it onto a tile, tile.
Or like a thin stone.
Yeah, something that these suckers will stick to, and they'll keep it weighted down and keep it the right way up in the pond. So I would think the idea is this sits on the bottom and it sucks the water in from roughly the bottom of the pond and expels it about when we put the little tube on, expels it at the surface into a sort of not quite a fountain, so it's circulating the water around and it's bubbling up at the top and being circulated around.
Oh, the water's coming up through.
Yeah, going above the surface into a small bubbling fountain. It helps to oxygenate it that way.
So you've put the pump just in a bowl of water in the sink to try it out, Paul.
Yeah, so it's about 2 inches below the surface, 1 inch to 2 inches, and try it on, turn it on.
So what flow settings are on?
Maximum. That's low setting, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's the low setting, yeah. So we'll try it on the low setting, Paul.
Okay.
Right.
Should keep it weighted down, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Don't think it needs anything else, does it?
No, should I plunge my hands in and put it down?
Yeah. Try not to go on top of that pondweed there. I like to squash it after it's just started growing. So So that's the pump working.
Yep, there it is, burbling away.
So what we could do is see what that's like later.
Yeah, because it's only a small filter.
Maybe wait a couple of days, do you think?
Could do, yeah.
And see if there's any difference, if we see it.
Yeah, I suppose as the filter gets blocked up, it's going to burble less and eventually maybe stop pumping at all, isn't it?
So it might be that you've got to clean the filter tomorrow.
Could be, yeah, because the pond was quite messy.
I just came out into the garden to check on the pond pump and found we've got a little visitor.
Super cute, that, isn't it?
So cute. Going to do a close-up in a min. You might have noticed the water's not sort of moving much, and it does look like the filter's got a bit blocked, wouldn't you say, Paul?
I would say so. It's not running as much as it was earlier on, is it?
So you'll definitely have to take it out
tomorrow and
clean the filter tomorrow. And there's a close-up of the frog. Isn't he beautiful?
He's delightful, isn't he? It's beautiful.
I can't think it's just because we put a pump in today.
Nah, I think he's been lurking around in the corner of the garden where the bushes are low hanging and it's damp and shaded.
I think we just noticed him because we've had our, attention on the pond
I think
today.
So. Yeah. It's still nice to see that.
And I've handed the camera over to Paul because he's a bit closer to me. So it's the next morning and we've come out to clean the filter and our little resident frog is there again.
So I'll try and be gentle. Whereabouts is it then? Have you seen it? Is it just down below?
No, can you not see it on that side?
I can see it, yeah.
Oh, you've not disturbed the frog. That's good, Paul. They look like slugs. I wonder if there's some sort of water slug. Do you think there's some sort of water slug?
Could be. Could be.
So there's not been much come out of this sponge.
What we'll do,
Because I haven't been washing the pump a bit.
I'll just wash it and then I'll refill the water, the bowl, and run it in the bowl to see what's going on, yeah?
What are you going to do with all those water slugs? Well, the birds will get them, won't they? I've just noticed there's actually 2 frogs there this morning. So there wasn't much came off the sponge,
no.
and yet the flow rate
That's right.
was a lot lower.
So this is an investigation. Maybe the pump itself is blocked up for some reason.
So that the lawnmower's done that.
Yeah. Too many things going on in the garden.
Well, the pump's working fine there, isn't it?
It could be that maybe the vibration adjusted the flow rate to 0 on the adjustment mechanism. I don't know. So it's okay to put back in there. Should we try it?
What flow rate is that, Paul?
It's a little bit higher than before.
Right, okay.
I think what we'll do is turn it off while we put it in to avoid less go.
They're both together next to each other.
They're not that bothered, are they?
Well, I think, yeah, but try to keep it to a minimum. One's just popped under.
I could turn it on, yeah?
Yeah. So there was no debris on the filter at all?
No, it may have just been some weed getting round which temporarily stopped the flow.
So we won't be taking it out tomorrow.
No, I don't think so. We'll just turn it off and then at night turn it on again in the morning, see what happens.
I'm a bit concerned because the frogs haven't come back up.
Well, I suppose it's just the initial disturbance, but once it's been on for a while, it'll be okay. But if you want, I can always turn it off again.
So it doesn't look like this filter actually cleans the water.
No, it looks like the filter's just meant to protect the motor from sucking up any bits and pieces that might damage it. And if we want to filter the water, we'd have to get another filter, I think, and put it in line somewhere.
So will this filter ever need cleaning?
Don't know. Won't be cleaning it again or looking at it for a week or so.
Turn it off, Paul, give him a chance to come back up. So the filter doesn't actually filter the water on this pump.
Yeah, it doesn't actually clean the pond.
So is there any point in putting it in then?
We're
putting the pump in?
I think, well, I don't know what mechanisms clean the pond, if it needs filtration or a balanced environment, or does it just need oxygenating. So I suppose we're just really learning it. It would be nice to leave the pump on and see if the agitation helps to oxygenate it and clean the water that way.
Oh, is that supposed to actually happen then?
I believe so, yeah. I mean, moving water is always better than still water, stagnant water, isn't it?
Right.
For being healthy.
Yeah. So, and you were saying it would be possible to add a filter that would actually filter the water at some later date if you wanted to.
The pump needn't necessarily be in the pond. It could take water out of the pond via a pipe, push it through an external filter, then put it back in via a pipe.
So there wouldn't be any agitation. We would just
There'd
use
be
filter.
much less agitation than having the pond and having the pump in the pond.
Right. Well, that's a possibility in the future.
Yeah,
then.
it's probably something to experiment with. Just come up.
The second one's just come up now, right next to the other one. One seems braver than the other.
So we could turn it on and off throughout the day.
They'll get used to it.
Might get used to it, yeah.
So I've just popped outside and had a very pleasant surprise, and I shall share that with Paul and with you folks at the end of this video. But before that, I just want to say a few words on this pump. This is the pump that we bought. It was from Amazon UK for £17, and I'd say the main thing to say is that it's got a filter there, but it doesn't actually filter the water, does it, Paul?
I wouldn't say it's a proper water filter, no, if you want to clear your water.
Yeah, so if you want to clear your water, you probably want to get a separate filter.
Yeah.
As a pump, well, we'll monitor it, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, it pumps water.
Yeah, but it did stop yesterday. Like something blocked it.
Yeah, I think that was just weeds getting around the inlet though.
Yeah, but it's something to be aware of, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is only a cheap pump.
Yeah, it was only £17.
Probably one of the cheapest you can buy.
But what we'll do is we will monitor this over the next couple of weeks, and then I'll do an update to share with you folks. So here's the surprise. 3 frogs. Not 1, not 2, but 3. All lined up. I wonder how many we're actually going to get.
Yeah, I wonder where they all come from.
So, regardless of what the pump's doing, we've achieved what we wanted to, which was to get frogs in our pond.
Yeah.